Yeah, I think trending in the right way. We've got our meeting with the training staff after practice today, but both guys are, like I said, working their butts off to try to get back and be ready to go, and we'll see how they do today. Today's kind of, as you guys know, a different schedule than what we've had here the last couple of years, where we'll still be running around doing things, and then tomorrow goes to more of a walkthrough. So Friday's kind of your day to figure out, hey, what are we thinking?
What does it say about those two guys that when they got hurt, we thought they would be further along before they come back, and now they might be here for the opener? What's it about that?
It raves about them and their competitive spirit and just the work that it takes. These things don't happen overnight. Trayvon's a guy that, really, truly, when he came back and started working closely with Britt and the trainers, just took huge leaps and strides, and so proud of him for the way he's attacked this injury and how bad he wants to get out there and play. We have to make the decision of, is he ready to go? He is certainly pushing to do that. And then, when the thing happened with Guyton, we weren't sure. We thought it could be much, much worse. But we also thought this thing could drag on first couple weeks. But these guys have not missed a beat, man. They're here all the time. Players' days off. They're in here getting treatment, and they've all had the vision of getting back. Why? For their brothers. Not to play the Eagles, but to get back here for their brothers and to be part of the team.
One more. How hard has it been to try to manage snap counts and practices, because you're not sure if you're going to have them, and you got to obviously prepare for a game?
Yeah, we do. We do that no matter what, whether guys are healthy or not. You always have to find ways to get guys reps and different things like that. But it's a good problem to have, not a bad problem to have.
Brian, Todd Archer with ESPN. You've wanted to be a head coach for a long time. You're closing in here on a couple of days beforehand. Have you thought much about what you're going to say either the night before to the team in the hotel or right before the team goes out onto the field?
No, not really. I think here's the way I view this, and it's funny, I actually caught myself doing this the other day, our bonus Monday. I kind of called the team up, and I kind of got a little fiery and excited about, playing the Eagles and, prime time and all that stuff. And I went to bed that night. I was like, what are you doing? Like, you know better than that. Because honestly, the way we approach things, Todd, is every game we play is just another championship opportunity. It's just another championship opportunity. We get a chance to go out there against the Eagles. You don't get extra credit for beating the Eagles in Philly on primetime than you do for beating the Giants at noon in AT&T Stadium. So what I don't want these guys to do, and I think the coaches are a big part of this, is go in there and try so hard. Oh, we're playing the Eagles. I'm going to do so hard. They're going to make mistakes if they do that. Play free. It's football. Fly around. Love being around with your brothers, man. Just run to the football. Celebrate. Have fun. And so, again, it's going to be pretty consistent throughout the course of the deal. We're guaranteed 17 of these. This is the first one of that. I think our guys will play well. But again, that's kind of going to be my message most weeks.
Dak used the term super excited, I think, 15 or 16 times on time we talked with us. What's your level of excitement to see what Pickens and Lamb can do for real out there in a real game?
I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm excited to watch those guys every day in practice. It's fun to watch those guys. But what I love, Todd, is I love the way they feed off one another and they celebrate one another. As we all know, there's one ball, and the ball can't go to multiple spots on the play. And we've got a lot of really good weapons. Terp's having a great, lead up to the season. We're going to run the football. We know that. And so, I'm just excited for how much fun those guys have playing the game as Cowboys.
John Machota with The Athletic. Now being around George Pickens for a while, what would you say gives you the most confidence that he'll be able to hit the ground running week one, despite not playing in the preseason?
Yeah, just the consistency that we see every day in practice, the work that he's gotten with Dak. It's one of those situations where, like, these guys with now having a true game plan. We didn't have game plans going in the preseason, so now having real game plans, they're throwing specific routes that they're going to be throwing in the game, so you can get a lot of very specific, refer to as me to you factor throws, where I'm throwing this ball to you, and okay, let's work out the kinks here. They've been working really, really hard on that. But the one thing I know about George is he's looking forward to the moment because he loves playing the game of football, and I think, again, he'll step up and play well, but also with a lot of passion come Thursday night.
With you knowing Dak, when you guys made that move, did you think that the rapport between him and George was click the way it has?
Yeah, but again, I don't think it was just Dak. I think a big part of it's GP and how GP came in here. And GP's been humble, and GP's been all about, hey, whatever's best for the team. And then CD leaning into GP. So this was never a question about Dak's ability to interact. I'm not that guy that wants one guy to connect with somebody else or anything like that. This is more about just GP's willingness to come in here and open himself up and be vulnerable with our guys in the locker room. And I'm all about guys being authentic to who they are. And so, but like I said, from day one, it's been awesome.
Nick Harris, 4-Star Telegram. You've been building this offense the whole offseason, working with Dak and training camp. How excited are you to finally just put it on the field on Thursday night?
So excited, just again, to see how these guys take the stuff that we've been practicing and get it out there. Obviously going against a great defense. Ton of respect for Vic Fangio and what he has done in his crazy career, and their defense is very, very talented. They're very simple. Their ability to communicate non-verbally is quite astonishing, to be honest with you. They're tied and aligned on the same page with things, and it'll be a tremendous challenge for us. But our guys will be up to it, and I think we'll play well.
And then it'd be your first time building an opening script in a couple of years. Have you already done that, or are you going to do that the day of the game?
No, I'll start that kind of this afternoon and leading into tomorrow, and we'll get a chance to kind of walk through it a little bit, before we go play. But it's a little bit like riding a bike. You kind of know what you want. Doesn't mean it always works, Nick. It doesn't always work. Sometimes you got to adjust. That's what opening game football is about, man, making adjustments. So we'll see.
Joe Hoy, Dallas Morning News. You mentioned that nonverbal, stuff that Vic Fangio does. I guess from an offense perspective, even in scouting, how do you try to pick up on stuff? When do you recognize, hey, that's nonverbal, and what can that do for you guys in terms of providing challenges during the game?
Well, they make everything look the same. They do a really good job. It all looks the same. It all comes out of the quarters-based deal. Somebody did send me, I died laughing, Vic talking to Devontae Smith before practice, one of the practices, and talk about cover two. Well, Vic's not a cover two guy, so there you go. Are they going to play a lot of cover two? Vic, shoot me a text if you're going to play a lot of cover two. I'd love to know. But again, they're well coached, man, and they play hard. But there was a situation where I think it was Washington was running a formation, and they had looked like an automatic, the formation blitz called, and Washington changed the strength, and they didn't check up, and they ended up bringing a pressure to the other side, which they need to do. And you just, as a football coach and a football savant that I was once referred to, you're like, that's really cool shit. So they're really good.
And then Javonte Williams, Dak Prescott said his nickname for him is valedictorian Tay because of how well he prepares, and he was a valedictorian previously in his life. How have you seen kind of that ability from Javonte in the meetings and stuff, and what he is able to do and translate that to practice?
Well, Javonte was a little salty today. North Carolina, they had a rough start last night, and then he lost to Terp. We gave him another shot, so they both were 25 in college. So Terp beat Javonte, so TCU's up 2-0 on UNC. But it's funny, I'll tell you a quick story about Javonte. We were doing a move the ball period, I think a week or so ago, maybe one of the Frisco practices, and I kind of pulled a play that we hadn't run in a while. And I was kind of standing back behind the huddle, and I was like, hey, Javonte, you have this. And he looked back. He's like, Shotty, I got you. I got it. But, yeah, he gives you confidence. I think he gives Dak confidence. And I think that's what you love about the guy is, man, his preparation is top-notch.
Patrick.
Hey, Coach. Patrick Walker, DallasCowboys.com. Circling back to the offense. You were rightfully hell-bent on keeping things vanilla as possible in the preseason.
7-hour?
Yeah, 7-hour. Yep. Just talk about how excited you are and knowing that you still, and the importance of having that element of surprise going into week one.
Well, it's the only chance we ever get to do it. Next year there's going to be hopefully 20-plus games for people to look at of us. Again, there's just, when you put a new staff together, Patrick, it doesn't matter whether it's offense, defense, special teams. Why would you want to already give a very, very talented defense and an incredible coach and Vic and his staff, and why would you want to give them those opportunities to kind of prepare for things? Do they know we're going to run the football? Yep. Do they know we're going to try to throw the ball to George and CD? Yep. Is Terp going to be involved? Yep. But they don't have to see exactly how we're going to build those things.
Tommy Arsh, DallasCowboys.com. You've talked so much about wanting to be physical. How much of a early barometer is this going to be with their offensive and defensive line for just how physical you guys are on the last scrimmage?
Tommy, great challenge, man. I mean, this is these guys, that's what they do. You know, I think if you would talk to Nick and Nick was standing here, I guarantee you one of the things that they would talk about is they want to, you know, own the line of scrimmage, and that's what we want to do. So you got two teams that are kind of built on that, and now you got to get out there and put the ball down and see how the trenches play out. But again, I'm excited to watch our guys go compete, and again, very formidable challenge. Jalen Carter, man, incredible football player. You know, and their offensive line speaks for themselves. I mean, what they've done and what they've been able to do. Jeff Stoutland and I actually coached together in, 1998 at Syracuse University. Jeff was the tight end coach, and he's one of the top 2 or 3 offensive line coaches in our league, man. He's just different, and be great to give him a hug before the game.
And then Tyler Booker, how do you gauge his readiness ahead of an assignment like Carter and Davis?
You guys know Book, man. He's excited about the opportunity to go play football. He's played against great players. I don't know if he and Jalen ever matched up. They probably didn't. They probably missed each other with both guys, you know, leaving early. But again, Jalen's going to win some battles. Book's going to win some battles, and that's football, man. And if you can't get excited about that going into a matchup in a game, hey, man, I get to block Jalen Carter. How cool is that? And Book is ready for the challenge, but it'll be a fun one to watch.
Garrett Podell, CBS Sports. Brian, you held Javonte Williams out of the preseason. How do you feel like he's physically equipped to handle lead running back responsibilities?
Yeah, I have no questions about it, Garrett. He's played plenty of football. We practice very physically when we have pads on. We actually on Wednesday we had we were running inside run, and safety came running down. It was actually Elijah Clark came running down, and Elijah had gotten him a couple plays earlier. Tay got a little high, and Elijah got him, and Tay got a little lower, and Elijah felt it. And so I don't worry about Javonte. He plays the game one way. He's physical, and he plays it with passion and really good pad level.
Quickly on Dak entering his 10th season, how have you seen him really just grow from the time that you've been here since 2022 on the field, off the field here entering?
You know, he hasn't really changed, man. I commend the guy for the way he prepares every day. You know, here we are. It's Friday in our world. You know, so we're putting in red zone, 2-minute things like that. And when I tell you, when we're up there talking and installing the plays, and here's what they've done, and this and that, and just to see the guy, man, just compete in the classroom, man, writing everything down and asking great questions, and you know, taking responsibility for different things. Hey, I might do this here or there. I mean, that's something you learn as you get older. I'm sure Dak wouldn't, you know, hey, Shotty, I got something to add here. Boom. You know, when he was a rookie, he probably wouldn't have done that. But now he's just so comfortable in what we're doing and in his place on this football team that you get excited when guys do that.
Ed Werder, WFAA. You've talked about creating a physical identity and your determination to emphasize running the football. But if you look at this team, it looks like it's best equipped talent-wise with the quarterback and the receivers to be more of a passing team. How do you reconcile that and create the right approach?
Yeah, that's a good question, Ed. It's fair. Again, you have to play physical in everything you do. You know, like throwing the football, you have to be physical, whether it's the protection aspect, the backs picking up blitzes, chipping some of the edges, receivers playing physical to create separation, Dak standing in there taking shots when there's free runners and things like that. But look, you know, we want to be balanced. We want to run the football. You know, there's got to be marriage between your runs and your passes. That's part of it. And then, again, you got to be ready to adjust. And you can be very physical as a football team and not just do it running the football. You can do it other ways. And not my statement, but somebody told me during the interview process as we were putting our staff together, they said the way that you can tell a physical football team is by looking at the smaller skill guys. And if those guys play physical, then you're a physical-ass football team. And I love that. I say it all the time. And so when I watch CD play and work in practice and dig out safeties and stuff like that, I'm like, that's pretty cool. Or Kavontae Turpin or, Kyer Elam. Some of these guys, you know, if those guys are physical, you probably have something pretty cool going on.
Last one, Todd. Back to Diggs and Guyton. If they are available to play, how mindful are you of what they haven't been able to do for a good portion of the summer? And is it easy to mix and match them? Like you see different corners play, but usually an offensive line, it's, hey, it's your 5 guys and you roll with them. You work through all that.
Yeah, again, it's a little too early to speculate. I would say it's a little easier to mix and match your corners. You're right about that. You know, you're not putting your left guard, right guard in, and then taking them out every couple series. That's not desired. But again, we'll see how today works, and we'll see how the meeting goes this afternoon. We'll certainly have a plan, but it's much more flexible with receivers or DBs than it is with linemen. Good. Thanks, guys. See you.